Greek places said, let's reason.
This is really important, Charles. Here's the thing here, right? Okay. As far as how to do that, what you just said is how I view it is where I find so-called evidence which appears to conflict with what God has said. It's very, very easy to discern the truth in there. I simply believe what God said. Okay. I don't have to go any further than that, but I have done in the past with many things. Okay, and found that it was always a lie, always a waste of time, always a distraction, always the wrong path. And what did Jesus say? Set your mind on the narrow path. Neither go to the left nor the right. Yeah, and that means only His word. Don't believe that rubbish, even if it appears to be as if it's real. You should be looking. You should be looking if you're going to look at the evidence to prove God right, because you believe what He said. Because if you don't, you are doubting God's word. And look what happened to Eve. And as a result, look what happened to Adam. And as a result, look what's happened to us.
Well, I have to think that Jesus Christ actually existed. I have issues with that not being the case. Too much good history says He did. And, of course, that ends up being a fact that I really do not think that He was bringing around a lie. So I think there was a lot of truth. We just have to garner that truth and begin to apply it. But, this has been really good, Chris. I'm looking forward to seeing what you might come up with next. I think this really has a lot of good information. That video actually uses language of that day and numbering of that day to bring about some understanding to what we've translated into, Arabic numbers. I mean, a lot of people try and say, well, that's the modern English numbering system. No, it's Arab. It's Arabic numbers that we use. Just so, that wasn't used back then. They used, like you say, they used Greek and Roman numerals. And so to apply it and then look at what those might mean in the Greek language is real interesting. And I think it's actually pointing to a truth that we need to pay attention to, because if we believe we're the only type of creation that's sitting on this planet that's interacting with each other, then we're going to be sadly mistaken when things start hitting the fan and somebody else comes up. There's already going to be a long line into the psychiatrist's office as it is, and they're not going to be able to handle this. I think the most important thing is to realize there are others, and they are real, and they don't have our best interest in their heart. So, Chris, it's been good that you come, and so I'm going to let you go, and we're going to have you on some other time. It generates a lot of discussion, lots of debate. I'm glad that you can come on, and I'm going to finish the show off, Hans, with my list. Chris, thanks so much.
Can I leave you all with one thought, please?
You bet.
Okay. Those of you guys out there who are, listening to this and you're truth seekers and that, and if you want to see something amazing, try this. Don't do it on your own, though. If you suspect someone of being a Mason, or you see Masonic symbols somewhere, it could be shop, it could be whatever. If you speak to the proprietor rather than the people working there, if it's one of those smaller establishments, and say to them, have you ever heard of Hayo? And see whether they faint right before your eyes or almost have a seizure. You'll see that what I'm telling you is true, because I tried it the other day with someone who was turning right when they were walking past me. And on their back, they had a black jacket on, and on the back they had the anarchy sign, which is the A with the crossed top inside an O. So it says Hayo, but it's cryptic. Yeah, that's the anarchy sign. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this. And as that person walked to the corner about 20 feet away from me, I said, Hayo, like that. Not louder than that, just Hayo, like that. They almost lost their footing completely, turning to the left, and the look on the panic on their face, and then walked off down the road. I mean, actually scared. I'm telling you now, they are not allowed to mention Heyo, Haleo, EO, IO directly, because it is their secret, and you'll find that word in songs as well. You know, every little thing she does is magic. EO, 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 over and over again. The Teletubbies, EO, Walk Like an Egyptian, Wayo, Heyo. All of these things.
Chris, actually, I think I'll try that. I'm going to see what happens. Yeah, I think I will. Nothing like knowing a secret, Chris. Thanks so much, Hans. Thanks so much, and go ahead and hang on there if you want, Chris. If you'll click on ArgusoogRadio's website, there's a chat button that'll automatically bring up the chat window, and I think maybe if you sign in there as whatever you want, Chris or Gorilla199, they'd like to chat with you. There's a lot of good people in there wanting to hear some more from you. So anyway, thanks, Chris, for coming on.
Dit is ArgusoogRadio.
You can join us in the chat room. You can go to ArgusoogRadio.org. Click on the tab across the top, the chat. You'll come to another page, and you can click on that IRC. That means Internet Chat connection, or in the paragraph on the right, if you're in English, need English, you can click on